everybody, I'm Conor, that's Doug, and this is the Bethel School District Presents podcast, the greatest podcast in the history of mankind. And we are on special assignment today. We're on location at beautiful Kapowsin Elementary, and we're here to speak with teacher librarian Amy Dalin, who is a superstar out here. And we have a lot to talk about, but before we get into that, as we do, we always do our trivia. Useless, sometimes useful, mostly useless. So Doug, you're my sidekick. Why don't you start us off with some useless trivia?
Well, I'm glad I picked mine because I didn't know we were recording in the library today. We just said pick a quiet space, and it turns out your classroom is a quiet space as teacher librarian. Mine is on the history of magazine publishing in these United States. The first magazine published in the United States was in 1741. There are actually two of them. They were kind of competitors. Andrew Bradford, his debut magazine, American Magazine, came out first, and he beat one Benjamin Franklin to the punch. Benjamin Franklin's General magazine. Terrible titles, both of them. These came out 3 days apart, with Bradford's beating him to the punch. Of course, you haven't heard of them because they didn't last very long. And so the first mass circulation magazine that you would have heard about is the Saturday Evening Post. That came out in 1821 and printed until 1969. That's my useless trivia, Connor. Top that one.
Yeah, I only read the National Enquirer, so I don't know about any of these other ones.
I think that's fair.
Quality piece of useless trivia there, Douglas. Mine is animal related, and while most people know there are packs of dogs and schools of fish, Douglas, did you know that a group of lemurs is officially known as a conspiracy, or a group of ferrets is a business? How about a parliament of owls or a flamboyance of flamingos? Yes, I could go on, and I will, as a matter of fact. How about a bloat of hippos or an ambush of tigers, a shrewdness of apes? And you might be wondering, who comes up with these wacky names?
Who does make these up, Connor?
Well, many of them can be traced back to 1480 from a book called The Book of St. Albans, which was a landmark English book covering hawking, hunting, and heraldry.
Wow.
The source on that one is Mental Floss.
Man, just a fantastic bit of alliteration at the end. Do you, Amy, in the Kapowsin Library here, have a copy of the Book of St. Albans?
I do not. I don't think
bummer.
we do.
Oh, we got to get you a copy. We got to write off for one.
I bet it's a great beach
I'm
read.
sure the elementary kids will really love that.
Well, Amy, thanks for joining us first. And let's hear your little bit of useless trivia.
Okay, when I read the email, I really thought it was useless trivia about myself.
That works too. There are no wrong answers.
So I'm really double jointed in my elbows. So like my elbows like just completely bend inwards.
So for our listeners, I'm going to have you show us. And then, oh my gosh.
Oh,
that
is frightening.
I wasn't going to go that
painful?
far, but
no.
It looks like it should be.
But no, it's not. It's just the way that it works.
Well, that's your source. I didn't give my source, actually. My source was Texas A&M, by the way, for my magazine trivia. We do like to source our useless trivia, and that's our contribution for the kids out there. Always cite your sources. So, Amy, driving into Kapowsin Elementary, if people haven't been out here, it's right out on Meridian. You take a left on 264th, which is much farther than most people go, and there's the little Kapowsin Elementary School here that does amazing things for kids each and every day. And I pulled into my parking spot, and Mount Rainier is basically sitting on my dashboard. It is beautiful today. It's blue skies, a couple of clouds just over the mountain. I had to take a picture, which is why I was late coming in. Sorry about that. Appreciate Connor setting up everything in my absence. So our first question for you, when's the last time you've been to Mount Rainier, and have you ever summited it?
I have never summited Mount Rainier. I have been, we went a few months ago. We go to Mount Rainier a lot. We have a pass, and that was one of the first things that I noticed when I came to Kapowsin was just the view. Like, it is absolutely stunning here. I have summited Mount St. Helens, and we summited that last summer.
Really?
Yes, and I don't think I'll ever summit a mountain again.
So I have never summited a mountain, and I hope I can say that for the rest of my life. For our listeners, what was so difficult about it? What made you not want to do it anymore?
I definitely think we should have prepared more. I was like, oh, it's 4.5 miles. Like, we can do it.
That sounds like just a hike. Sounds
yeah,
easy.
and I was like, that sounds easy enough. And then we got up, and the last, 2 miles is all, ash fields. And so then you take one step forward, and you slide 3 steps back. And it's just the entire way up. And then we got up to the crater, and I was so excited. And, of course, it's, clouded. We were, in a cloud. So you just, look in front of you, and there's nothing. And I was like, I'm so glad I did this today.
Totally worth it.
You got a good podcast story out of
We
it.
do.
That's right. It absolutely was. Well, Amy, you are a teacher librarian here at Kapowsin. How long have you been here in this role, and have you taught anywhere else in the district?
This is my second year here as a teacher librarian. It's my second year as a librarian in total. I did teach in a different district, and I was actually a high school science teacher for 3 years.
Wow.
Before I made the transition to the library.
To the greatest district.
And a great district.
Of
I
all
really
time.
enjoyed it.
I love the job of librarian. You're around books, obviously, which is a great benefit. One of the cool things about your job is you get to lead your school's battle of the books. Can you tell us what that's like?
Yes, we actually this morning had our school battle. We had 3 really amazing teams. The kids did such a good job. And it's fun because, yes, I have these kids in class, but it's fun to like get to see them outside of class and know their personalities a little bit different. And it's incredible to see these kids grow and get excited about books. That's why I became a librarian is I saw a lot of kids just not be excited about books, and I was like, that's what I want to do.
That is fantastic motivation. So at what point in your life did you get inspired to get into the field of teaching and librarianship?
Yeah. I went to WSU and I got a degree in biology, and it was my senior year, and I was like, what am I going to do with a biology degree? And I had become a nursing assistant, and I was thinking I was going to go that track, and then I just really did not like it. And my grandmother was a teacher, and I've done all these things growing up. And I had a wonderful high school social studies teacher, Mr. Hodis, who has now since passed. He really just inspired me to go into education. He was a rock during some really hard times in high school, and I wanted to be that for other kids. So I got to teach for 3 years for high school, and I loved every minute of it. And now I'm here, and I've loved every minute of that too. So I love education, and I think it's a great field.
That's amazing. And we love having people who love education being in our district and the ones leading our students. And I can only assume, as someone whose chosen profession is to be among books, that you love books. I'm going to put you on the spot. What's your favorite book of all time? Children's or otherwise?
A book that I constantly go back and reread would probably be Pride and Prejudice. I just love that story. Like, I could read it over and over again. It is just, I'm such a sucker for romance books, so.
That's one I've never tackled. Even when Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies came out, I still didn't get me. So, Connor, are you a Jane Austen fan?
I've never read any Jane Austen books. I've seen lots of adaptations. I should read it. So, Doug, while we're talking books, let's go around the horn. What's your favorite book of all time?
The first one that comes to mind is John Steinbeck's Cannery Row. I love the scene that he sets and the characters and just the whole idea of that row, which is still there. I guess in Monterey you can visit it, but it's now changed from an old cannery at the end of the road to the aquarium. So that's a place I still want to go. I love Doc and all the different characters. Great book, great read.
Yeah, I know you're a Steinbeck head because you've also you've name dropped him a couple times on the pod. So
I have, because Travels with Charlie is also one of my
favorites. Yes.
Yeah, Connor, over to you. You started this mess. Now you got to finish it. What's your favorite book of all time off the top of your head?
It changes constantly, but since we've got kind of semi-problematic old white guys, I will go with Ernest Hemingway's A Movable Feast. I've read it many, many times, and as anyone who has visited Paris or wants to visit Paris, it's a very romantic idea of what that city's all about in a very romantic time. So I'll go with Movable Feast.
That's a pretty good pick. I just read that last year, actually, and I will say it's aight.
Okay. So not really the Doug endorsement.
The review is in. Well, Amy, back over to you. It is getting to be the end of the school year here. We're not going to count the days, but what is it like for a teacher at the end of the school year? The kids, I'm sure, are getting squirrely. The teachers are getting excited, and you still got stuff to teach. Like, what is that like for you here in the library?
Yeah, I always like to say my classroom management style is like controlled chaos. Like, we teach little humans, and they are hyper, like, all the time. And I think that was a big adjustment from high school, where the kids, like, don't talk to you, and they're just, like, on their phones, like, heads down. But then you come here, and they, like, want to be with you all the time, and that was, like, a huge adjustment. And so I just love to say, like, controlled chaos. Like, we will be doing activities, but it'll probably be loud, and it'll probably get a little crazy. We like to take the kids outside to read sometimes, like, when it's really beautiful. Just, like, we have bins of books, and I'm like, let's just go out, sit down on the grass, and enjoy some sunshine outside and read some books.
And put a book in your hand. There's nothing better than that.
Well, as if you didn't have enough to do, you are also in charge of running this school's very cool garden and the garden club. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we have a really unique opportunity here. We have this beautiful garden out there. I don't know if you guys saw it when you guys drove in. And it was taken care of by a former employee who had retired, and there just was an adjustment and a movement. And I have a science background, and they were like, what do you think if you started a gardening club? And I was like, yeah, that sounds so fun. Thinking like 10, 15 kids would like want to go out there. And then more and more and more permission slips got turned in. And I was like, oh no. Now we have 70 amazing kiddos who joined gardening club. We had gardening club yesterday. Talk about controlled chaos. That is a great group of kiddos who are just really passionate and like, but sometimes they finish so fast and like, what's next? What's next? And I just love that they're like, they want to be outside. And I love that they want to be outside. They want to get dirty. They love finding bugs. Like that is their favorite things. Yesterday they found caterpillars and they thought that was like the coolest thing they'd ever seen in their whole lives. And so it's been great. We've had lots of community outreach. We've had, people donate soil and seeds and their time. We've had lots of family volunteers. Yesterday the kids made seed bombs that are currently drying over there for our staff appreciation. Like I said, we're just taking it one day at a time. I think it's a little chaotic out there. And they planted yesterday for the first time the seed starters that we did, and we'll see if they survive. But they did it on their own, and that's what's really important is that is their garden. That is the Kapowsin students' garden, and I'm just more here to make sure we're all safe. So.
What a great hands-on opportunity for the kids to get out there and you said get dirty and just get some of that energy out, and then also learn about how nature works and finding those different bugs and all those seed bombs. Did you call them?
Yeah, they're called seed bombs. They're literally paper, like wet paper, and you put seeds in them and mold them, and then you let them dry, and then you can literally like chuck them in your yard, and they grow great plants.
That's awesome. So it's like wildflowers and things like that.
Yeah, wildflowers. The different colors are different seeds because I didn't want staff members to be like guessing what's going to grow in their yard.
I was wondering about that. Yeah, so for our listeners, we're looking at a table over. There's a white sheet down for the drying, and then just pink and blue and purple and green and yellow. Honestly, Connor, it looks like spitballs from when I was
really
in school. So maybe we were the start of that. We invented something back then in the 80s.
Just add some seeds to it and look what you can grow.
Exactly.
Well, that's very cool. And to wrap things up today, since we rarely have the chance to speak with a real-life librarian, can you give us a couple summer reading recommendations, either for kids or for adults, whatever strikes your fancy?
Ooh, okay. For little kids, our Children's Choice Award books are being voted on this year, but The Bakery Dragon is probably one of like my top favorites. It is so beautiful. The artwork in it is beautiful. Great for young kids. For like middle-aged kids, Four Eyes is a graphic novel that is amazing, and that's actually one of our battle books. And for adults, I just think if you have a book that you want to read, just read. I am a firm believer in reading what you want. Project Hail Mary just came out in theaters, and that is an excellent book. I would recommend that one.
I can also recommend that one. Fantastic book. And we'll go around the table again here real quick. What is a book, Connor, we'll start with you, that you saw yourself in as a young lad?
So I didn't get serious about reading until I was in my late teens, early 20s, kind of college age. And the first book I remember reading where it wasn't that I saw myself, but it kind of inspired me was Wonder Boys by Michael Chabon. And it's about an older writer and a younger writer. I identified with the younger writer at the time. Now I identify more with the older writer when I read it. But lovely book, and it definitely sparked my interest in reading and writing.
Interesting. That's a good pick. Amy, how about you?
I don't know if I necessarily like always see myself in her, but I like destroyed reading the Nancy Drew series, like all of them. And she's, this young girl that's like blonde and just smart and funny and very nosy, I think. And so I definitely saw myself in Nancy Drew a bit growing up.
Fantastic. I read a lot as a young kid. My mom used to take us to the Carnegie Library in Pittsburgh, and we'd get out whatever 10, 15, however many of the max books you could get, and I would have them all done in a week over the summer, and really like that. So the ones that really I saw myself in was Encyclopedia Brown was a big one. And then Ramona and Beezus had a friend whose name was Henry Huggins, and I saw myself in him too, which is that's a deep cut for the Ramona and Beezus fans out there. Well, this has been a really fun conversation. Thank you so much again to Amy Dalin for joining us today, teacher, librarian extraordinaire over at Kapowsin Elementary School. And we're going to be back next week with another great episode. Thanks for joining us.